This is what I think people just don't understand about Bitcoin. They think, "Oh, it's worthless. You can't touch it." Well, think about this. Can you touch your photos on Instagram? Can you touch your posts on Facebook? Uh, can you touch your money that's in the bank account? I mean, literally touch it, and you can go and withdraw it real quick. But can you touch it right now? Everything's going digital. And for people to think, oh, it's worth, no, this is why Bitcoin is so useful. Not only can you transfer funds and wealth very quickly anytime you want without a third party, but there's a finite amount of Bitcoin. And when you see more and more investors realizing this, and in fact, countries realizing this, when you're a country and your currency is decimated through hyperinflation, mismanagement of funds, mismanagement of your government, or whatever, and you think to yourself, or any other country, think to yourself, why am I backing? Why are we backing our currency with the fraudulent currency of the US? Why? Why don't we just buy Bitcoin and back our currency with Bitcoin? Doesn't that make more sense? There's only so much Bitcoin, and that's what makes it so valuable. When it all gets bought up, that makes it more valuable. There's It's called supply and demand. If there's a huge supply of something like our dollar, it makes it worth less. Now, if there is not a big supply of something and a large demand, like Bitcoin, which will, if these, like Elon Musk bought a bunch, if there's other companies or whatever countries that get into this, that means the price is going to go up and up. And that's why people think it's going to go up to 330,000 by the end of this year. That's why people are predicting it to go up to 500,000 and a million. Well, it's not going to go up to a million tomorrow. It's not going to go up to 500,000 tomorrow. Right now, it's almost $45,000. If you look at what it was a year ago, what it was around a year ago or something. But anyway, let's just take when I bought into it. When I bought into it, it was like around 17,000. Since then, it's gone up to 54, and I bought that in like the middle of December, maybe like the end of November. That's when I bought in, and look how fast it's went up in 4 months. I I I I, I tripled my money just about. I have tripled my money just about in 4 months. Now, will there be corrections? Will it go down? Yes, 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 but it'll go back up. It will go back up. And the more confidence, the more mainstream this gets, you might even have central banks trying to get into this too, which will be very intelligent. And they're going to try to incite fear, and governments will try to put in regulations to try to screw this up, and people will get scared. They might try to ban it in different places. I think China's banned it, so they can get people to sell off, and then they buy it all up, right, and ruin this technology. So I think if I was a country, I would be like, okay, that's, like I said, let's back it with our currency. We want to invest in this. It's a great investment. There's only 21 million that can never be made, and 2 to 4 million to 6 million have been lost. So that means there's about 14 to 15, could be 18 million Bitcoin that can ever be mined. They can mine about 950 a day right now. Um, and as time goes, it's going to be less and less per day. It'll be cut in half, and then The last Bitcoin that could be mined is in like 2000, no, 2140. That's the last one. So there's a lot of value to Bitcoin. And if you're mobile and move around, do you want to move around, I don't know, pallets of gold if you're rich? You know how much that costs? Or would you rather move around some cryptocurrency called Bitcoin? It's a lot faster. I can make I can transfer it anywhere. I don't need a third party. And yes, a lot of different factors are going to cause it to go to a million eventually, probably higher than a million. And there will be something that replaces Bitcoin that's way better at some point. But for right now, for the next decade or 2 decades, Bitcoin is going to be huge, in my opinion. In my opinion, I could be wrong. It could go to zero, which I highly doubt. I highly, highly, highly doubt it. It's the baby boomers and Generation X that don't understand, and the young people understand. They live most of their life online. A lot of women are highly connected to their phones. Kids are highly connected to their phones. Teenagers, so they get it. They get Bitcoin. It's the older people that don't understand, and they're the ones that's going to move into it slower, and they're the ones that's going to transfer their wealth. Um, so it's a great asset. I think it's a great investment, in my opinion. I'm not a financial expert. This is just educational. Um, it makes sense. There's a lot of different factors why it's going to go up, and inflation will be one of them. The dollar is going to be worth a lot less going forward. Every single time they want to come out with more debt, it makes our dollar worth less. And yes, it helps drive up the price of Bitcoin, and it'll make it seem like it's like, oh yeah, it's worth a million, but what if Bitcoin was, you know, a million, if it's worth a million in 10 years, well, it's probably, you know, it's not, $1 million isn't the same as it is in 10 years as it is now, as it was 10 years ago, as it was 20 years ago. So it changes. Just because something's worth a million means like $1 million in 10 years could be like $500,000 now. You know what I'm saying? Or $250,000 now. So it's just the more corporations get in there, the more countries get in there, they are going to be paying more. And it's going to be because there's not a big supply of it. That's what people don't understand. And it's going to drive up the prices because people are going to want to buy. When people stop buying, then it'll probably even out, start selling. But listen, that's why I'm holding. I'm not playing this whole game where I swing trade. I don't want to pay capital gain tax. I don't want to do it. My goal is to hold on to it, borrow against it, and then pass it down. Pass my wealth down. But we'll see what happens.